from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
A pleasant evening and a very warm welcome to the national news broadcast of Rupavahini on Channel I. I'm Delanjali Anand. Joining me is Lakshita Edurusingha. And these are the top stories which have made headlines for tonight. Water and tear gas attacks to the protest march of the Inter-University Students' Federation. 6 luxury vehicles with VIP stickers have been taken into police custody. Sri Lanka Freedom Party has decided to contest a loan to a number of local government bodies. The appeal court grants leave to consider a petition asking an investigation on setting fire to houses on the 9th of May. Sri Lanka cricket is to investigate on the national team's massive defeat in India. 30 Ukrainians killed in a Russian missile attack. Now for those and other stories in detail. Annual need of eggs in Sri Lanka is 3 billion.
At the face of the existing crisis, production of eggs is limited to 3 million. Although there is no severe shortage of eggs in the market, price of eggs has increased rapidly. The country had been able to provide the entire need of eggs locally until the year 2021. There are several reasons for the current shortage. Limitation of manufacturing and importing animal feed and shortage of parent birds are some reasons. Another reason is that many poultry farmers have given up the industry. The country's entire maize demand is 5 to 5.5 metric tons. 380,000 metric tons are produced locally. The rest is imported. Due to some decisions taken in the past period, maize cultivation was severely declined in the year 2021. Shortage of maize has also been a major cause for the shortage of eggs. Due to the influence of the economic crisis, import of mother birds decreased by 50% to 40,000 birds. In addition, over 140 poultry farmers have closed down their farms during the last year only. People are also facing many hardships as some unscrupulous businessmen are attempting to exploit the situation. The government has taken measures to import 80,000 egg-laying parent birds in order to increase egg production during the upcoming festive season. In addition, 200,000 hatched eggs will be imported to the Miriswatha and Maravilla farms of the National Livestock Department to obtain chicks in very short a period. These 200,000 parent birds will be used to egg production within the next 3 months. These measures have been taken to ease the shortage of eggs by the upcoming festive season. The cabinet approval has also been given to import 160,000 metric tons of maize as a quick remedy for the animal feed problem.
The police conduct tear gas attacks in several locations today on the Protistas March organized by the Inter-University Students' Federation. The protest march was organized demanding the release of its convener Vasanta Mudalige from the remand custody. The march started from the Tumula Junction. It was moving along the Gore Road, Marine Drive and Duplication Road. The police first launched the tear gas attack on the protesters at the St. Anthony's Road. Later, they reached the University of Aesthetic Studies near the Nellum Pokuna Theatre. The police again attacked them with tear gas. The protest march was curtailed due to a heavy rain fell at the moment. The OIC of the Slave Island Police had received information that the protesters were planning to gather at the Lipton roundabout and then came to Golf Face via Union Place in a huge protest march. The police had made the request to the Colombo Fort Magistrate Court today to ban this protest campaign. Accordingly, the court has issued a prohibition order to stop this. However, the protesters engaged in this march today disregarding the court order.
Borella police have taken 6 luxury vehicles that had run in the Borella area in the guise of VIP vehicles. Having headlamps switched on during the daytime, there were VIP stickers pasted on the front of these vehicles as well. 6 youth have also been arrested in this regard. These vehicles had come to Borella area in a motorcade from Rajagiri through DSN Anayaka Junction. Under information received by the Director of the City Traffic Police, SP Namal Pushpakumara, a team of Borella Traffic Police had arrested these suspects. Later, it has been revealed that they are not VIPs. They are youth between 20 to 30 years and said to be sons of leading businessmen living in Borella and Cinnamon Garden areas. It has been revealed that they had driven the vehicles with VIP stickers and signal lights, causing disturbance to the road users. The police had removed all unauthorized appliances and handed over the vehicles to the owners after checking them thoroughly. The Barella police conducts further investigations in this regard.
Now, media spokesman of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, Rukmani Devis, says that the party will contest the election alone. The SLFP had earlier decided to contest the polls with the Freedom People's Alliance under the helicopter symbol. Meanwhile, General Secretary of the party, Das Wijayasekara, at a meeting in Gampaha today said that the party will take the final decision on contesting as an alliance. The SLFP deposited bonds for the polls for Anuradhapura district today under the patronage of Rukmani Devis.
අපි සන්දානගත වෙලා ඉල්ලන්න තමයි පහුගිය දිනවල සාකච්ඡා ගියේ. නමුත්
SLFP also made their deposits for the Gampaha district today. General Secretary Das Wijayasekara participated at this occasion. The SLFP also made the deposits for the Polonnaruwa district. Former President Maithripala Sirisena also joined this occasion. The UNP made the deposits for the local government bodies in the Galle district today. Parliamentarian Vajra Abewardena took part in this event. 34 political parties and 2 independent groups have made the deposits for the Galle district so far. Samag Jana Balawegya made the deposits for the Galle district today under the patronage of Parliamentarian Kabir Hashim. There are 12 local government bodies in the Galle district.
මේකයි අවස්ථාව. අපි එකට නැගිටිනවා.
Samag Jana Balawegya also placed the bonds for Putlam, Badulla, Mathura and Galle districts today. Parliamentarian Gayantha Karunatilaka participated in this occasion at the Galle district. Samag Jana Balawegya placed the deposits today for the Anuradhapura district as well. Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna signed the nominations papers for Vaunia, Mannar and Mullaitivu districts under the patronage of parliamentarians S.M. Chandrasena. Now, searchers say they have given up hope of finding survivors after Nepal's worst air disaster in decades.
However, the plane's flight data and voice recorders had been found. There were 72 passengers and crew aboard the Yeti Airlines flight from Kathmandu to the tourist town of Pokhara, which crashed on Sunday. It is unclear what caused the crash. Chief District Officer in the Taxi District said that they have collected 68 bodies so far. Search is underway to discover 4 more bodies. It is the country's deadliest plane crash in 30 years. There were 72 passengers and crew on board the flight. The government set up a panel to investigate the cause of the disaster. Aviation accidents are not uncommon in Nepal, often due to its remote runways and sudden weather changes that can make for hazardous conditions. This Himalayan nation, home to some of the most breathtaking mountains in the world, has some of the most difficult terrain to navigate. A lack of investment in new aircraft and poor regulation have also been blamed in the past. Meanwhile, the European Union has banned Nepalese airlines from its airspace over concerns about training and maintenance standards. The Yeti Airlines flight which crashed had 68 passengers on board, including at least 15 foreign nationals and 4 crew members. Of the passengers, 53 were said to be Nepalese. There were 5 Indian, 4 Russian and 2 Koreans on the plane. There was also 1 passenger each from Ireland, Australia, Argentina and France, among others. Anju Kartiwada, the co-pilot of the Yeti Airlines, who was seconds away from becoming pilot, lost her life in the Sunday plane crash in Nepal. Anju Kartiwada was set to become the captain after her successful landing, which was scheduled for Sunday. To become a captain, one must have 100 hours of flying experience, and co-pilot Anju had made successful landings in almost all the airports of Nepal earlier. After Sunday's successful landing, the co-pilot was set to receive a pilot's license.
The Court of Appeal today granted leave for consideration of a petition filed by some ministers and parliamentarians requesting an investigation on the attacks and setting fire to their houses on 9th of May last year. The court has issued notices to the respondents to present submissions to the courts regarding the relevant petition on the 24th of February. The appeal court decided to consider the writ filed demanding to order the IGP and the defence authorities to conduct an investigation on this incident occurred on the 9th of May and to take action under the criminal law. Accordingly, summons were issued to 18 respondents, including IGP C.D. Vikramaratne, Defence Secretary Gamal Gunaratne, then Army Commander Shavendra Silva, Chief of Staff of Sri Lanka Army, Senior DIG Western Province Deshapandu Tennakon, the Secretary of the Ministry of Public Security. The order was issued by Appeal Court Judges Sobhita Rajakaruna and Dhammika Ganepola. The writ has been filed by 39 victimized politicians, including Bandula Gunawardena, Gamni Lokuge, Janaka Bandara Tennakon, Prasanna Ranatunga, Prasanna Ranavira, Siripala Gamlat, S.M. Chandrasena, Shehan Semasinghe, Rohita Abe Gunawardena, Kokila Gunawardena, and Sahan Pradeep. President's Counsel Sanjeev Jayawardena, appearing for the petitioners, informed the courts that an organized group had set fire on the 9th of May last year during the same period. One parliamentarian was brutally killed on that day. However, no fruitful investigation has been conducted into these incidents. Private residence of the present president, Ranil Wickremesinghe, was set on fire in front of the armed security forces, and over 4,000 valuable books had been destroyed. The President's Council pointed out that present president is also a victim of these violent incidents. President's Council Sanjeev Jayawardena questioned how such violent activities can be conducted just in front of over 4,500 members of armed forces deployed for security. A committee headed by former Navy Commander Vasantha Karannagoda has been appointed to investigate these incidents, and a report in this connection has been submitted to the President. The President's Council also questioned that even before the 45,000 members of the armed forces, the strugglers had overrun the President's House, Temple Trees, President's Secretariat, Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation and several other state institutions. He also pointed out that the then Army Commander had not enlightened the commanders of the relevant areas, the directives issued by the Defence Ministry to prevent the violent activities. The President's Council further said that the respondents have failed to conduct a proper investigation in this connection. Deputy Solicitor General Kanishka De Silva, appearing for the Attorney General, said that according to the 35th clause of the Constitution, the court has no jurisdiction to call back a report submitted to the President. Deputy Solicitor General pointed out that no legal action can be taken against President according to the Constitution.
The yellow leaf disease has spread in about 1,600 acres of paddy cultivation in the Polonnaruwa Mahaveli B zone. The farmers say that the paddy pushers have not grown properly. The disease has spread over most of the paddy fields in the Daul Damana, Ihalavawa, Arunapura, Dammin and several other areas. The farmers say that they have been rendered helpless, although they cultivated the crops under the guidance given by the agriculture officers. About 250 acres of paddy lands in Maradankanawala area have also been subject to this disease. The farmers request the authorities to take immediate action to prevent this situation. The Agriculture Department says that samples will be taken within this week from all the areas where the disease is reported. According to the tests done so far, the Agriculture Department points out that applying fertilizer is the remedy for the time being. The Agriculture Department has also taken steps to prevent the other diseases, including the roundworm disease reported from some areas in the island. A meeting with the participation of all relevant stakeholders will be held at the Agriculture Department on the 23rd of this month. Distribution of 6.8 million litres of diesel donated by the Chinese government is now underway. The first stock of diesel is now being distributed among the farmers in Kilinochchi district. Harvesting season in the district has also started at present.
Now, the cabinet paper presented by President Ranil Wickremesinghe for the provision of 10 kilograms of rice per month for 2 million low-income families, including some of the beneficiaries, for a period of 2 months has been approved. Accordingly, the government will purchase 61,600 metric tons of paddy to meet the requirement of 40,000 metric tons. This program is proposed to be implemented by district secretaries and divisional secretaries with the assistance of small and medium-scale paddy mills. Under the district secretaries, the divisional secretaries, rice will be distributed among the identified Samurdhi beneficiaries, including low-income earners, using the existing system under the coordination of the Ministry of Women, Child Affairs and Social Empowerment. The total estimated cost is 8,040 million rupees, which includes 6,200 million rupees for paddy purchasing. However, the program's estimated cost will vary depending on market fluctuations, and a budget provision of around 10,000 million rupees will be allocated to be used if the need arises. According to data from the Departments of Agriculture and Agrarian Development it has been observed that the next Maha season may have a paddy surplus. As a result, in order to protect both the paddy farmer and the consumer, the government is expected to intervene in the purchase of a specific amount of paddy during this season, as per the statement issued by the President's Media Division. This program is expected to benefit both farmers and low-income groups in the country. Now, Sitavaka Odyssey special tourist train was launched yesterday, opening new opportunities for the tourism industry in Sitavaka area.
The train will leave Colombo Fort at 7 a.m. on Sundays from the 5th of February. Its final destination is the Wagga railway station. The aim of this new train journey is to popularize the tourist attractions in the area among local and foreign visitors. This was launched under a concept of Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena. The passengers are able to view the attractive places on either sides of the railway line until they reach the Wagga destination. The government has planned to create a tourism zone in the Sitavaka area with quick access for the local and foreign visitors from Colombo. A large number of local and foreign tourists joined the inaugural journey of this train. The visitors will be able to tour in Avisavela, Wagga, Labugama, Kalatuava and Sitavaka Wetland Botanical Garden during the day and come back to Colombo by the same train that leaves Wagga station at 6 p.m. Transport facilities have been arranged from the Wagga station to the Sitavaka Wetland Park. Minister Bandula Gunawardena said that this tourist destination has been created for the convenience of the tourists that arrive in the country for a short period. They are able to visit this area within a very short period and lower cost rather than visiting faraway areas like Nuwara. This project has jointly been organized by the Ministry of Transport, Railway Department and the Western Provincial Tourist Board.
It was very good, interesting, and for children to also.
I like Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, my favorite country. I visit maybe 21 or 24 countries, and Sri Lanka is my favorite.
Actually, it's really good experience for us. Thank you for government of Sri Lanka for make a better tourism for us.
It's very good experience. It's thanks for our friend minister that join us in this place, and good luck all.
Tour was very amazing. Usually, we saw many beautiful places.
Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena says that the 75th Independence Day celebration of this year should be held in order to enlighten the young generation with the importance of Sri Lanka's struggle for independence. He made these remarks at a ceremony held in the Temple Trees today.
A literary discussion focusing attention on the late veteran writer W.A. Silva's historical novels was held at the Temple Trees today. This has been organized under a concept of the Prime Minister. Accordingly, this discussion will be held monthly under the current and appropriate themes. Mahasangha, academics, school teachers and students are invited for the discussion. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena said that the publication sector has faced a crisis at this moment. Therefore, all relevant institutions should work closely to revitalize the literary sector. Intellectuals were present at the first talk.
The visiting delegation of the Communist Party in China, headed by Deputy Minister Shen Shao, held a special discussion in Colombo today with several parliamentarians and ministers representing political parties. The delegation has arrived in the country in line with the 20th anniversary of the National Congress of the Communist Party.
For us
The Chinese envoy said that his government constantly supports Sri Lanka to overcome the difficult challenges faced by the island. 1,000 generators have been donated to Sri Lanka to strengthen the China-Sri Lanka friendship. Several generators were symbolically handed over at the ceremony. Meanwhile, the delegation also met former President Mahinda Rajapaksa at his official residence. General Secretary of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna and several ministers and parliamentarians were present at this occasion.
So may I invite your honourable to that.
A commemoration ceremony and musical show to mark the 100th birthday of late veteran singer and artist Rukmani Devis was held yesterday at the Tower Hall in Maradana. This has been organized to felicitate the service rendered to the arts sector by Rukmani Devis. She entered Sinhala cinema by portraying the role of Ranjani in the first Sinhala film Kadavunu Poronduwa. Rukmani Devis is also called as the topmost actress and the singing maestro in Sri Lanka. A number of songs sung by Rukmani Devis was performed by many artists at the ceremony. Stay tuned with us for news from overseas. Welcome back in foreign news. The mayor of Dnipro has warned that there may be no further survivors after Saturday's Russian missile strike on an apartment building in the eastern Ukrainian city. A whole section of the 9-story block collapsed and the city administration says at least 35 people died. Rescue efforts are continuing. At least 35 others are still missing and 75 survivors were injured. There is minimal chance of finding others alive, Mayor Boris Filatov said. Speaking to state TV in Moscow, Russian President Vladimir Putin insisted that military operations were going to plan. Kyiv, Kharkiv and Odessa were also hit last week by Russian attacks, which Moscow said were targeted at Ukraine's military and energy infrastructure. Polish Prime Minister called the missile strikes inhuman, adding that Russia intentionally keeps on committing war crimes against civilians.
Now, California has been hit by a final round of storms, bringing more rain and snow to a state already reeling from disruptive flooding, heavy snowfall and at least 19 deaths. Storms have battered the state in recent weeks, flooding communities and forcing evacuations. The scale of the damage is still not fully clear. About 25 million people in California were under flood watch at the weekend. However, U.S. National Weather Service Agency in the region have indicated that the weather may improve this week. 1 to 3 feet of snow fell in parts of California's Sierra Nevada range over the weekend. More than 11,000 homes in the state remained without power yesterday. U.S. President Joe Biden declared a major disaster in California, the country's most populous state, recently.
In other stories, Mexico has brought into force one of the world's strictest anti-tobacco laws by enacting a total ban on smoking in public places. The step, which was first approved in 2021, also includes a ban on tobacco advertising. Several other Latin American countries have also passed legislation to create smoke-free public spaces. However, Mexico's legislation is considered to be the most robust and wide-ranging in the Americas. It amounts to one of the most stringent anti-smoking laws in the world. Mexico's existing 2008 law, which created smoke-free spaces in bars, restaurants and workplaces, has now been extended to an outright ban in all public spaces. That includes parks, beaches, hotels, offices and restaurants. There will also be a total ban on the advertising, promotion and sponsorship of tobacco products, preventing the showcasing of cigarettes inside shops. Vapes and e-cigarettes are also subject to tighter new restrictions, particularly indoors. With police corruption rampant in Mexico, many fear that rather than issuing real fines or punishment for smoking in public, some officers will use it as a pretext for taking bribes.
Now, India's top 1% owned more than 40.5% of its total wealth in 2021, according to a new report by Oxfam. In 2022, the number of billionaires in the country increased to 166 from 102 in 2020, the report said. Meanwhile, it added that the poor in India are unable to afford even basic necessities to survive. The charity called on the Indian authorities to levy a wealthy tax on ultra-rich and tackle this obscene inequality. The report Survival of Richest was released as the World Economic Forum began in Davos.
Newlywed grooms were thrown into a snowy hillside as part of a traditional New Year's event in central Japan recently. The custom dates back to over 300 years. It is said to have started when local men took revenge on men from different districts who married local women by throwing the outsiders into the snow. This year, 3 newlywed couples took part in the event. Locals carried the husbands up a hill and then threw them down a slope. The grooms rolled down to their brides, who brushed the snow off their faces and clothes. Later, New Year decorations were burned in a bonfire. Participants mixed the ashes and snow and then smeared them on each other's faces to pray for good health during the coming year.
Now, 4 giant pandas at the Shenyang Forest Wild Zoo in northeast China have been spotted playing in recently fallen snow, doing somersaults and tumblers as they enjoy the winter weather. Giant pandas are well adapted to colder weather, according to the zoo authorities. After playing in the snow, pandas returned to their enclosure of refill with fresh bamboo. Although giant pandas are from the southern province of Sichuan, they prefer cold weather over hot weather. With the Spring Festival approaching, the zoo's keepers are laying on special food and new toys to involve the pandas in the celebrations.
In more stories from China, the largest lantern fair in northeast China's Shenyang, being held every year as part of the Spring Festival celebrations, is witnessing a rebound of tourist arrivals in the city. For people in the northern part of China, visiting lantern fairs and solving lantern riddles are traditional activities during the Spring Festival and a way for families to celebrate together. In Shenyang, capital of Liaoning province, a lantern fair covering an area of more than 20,000 square meters with more than 70 sets of large light installations illuminating the city's night sky has become an attraction to visitors. The event has been held for more than 10 years now, and this year visitors will be impressed by a display called Sky City, made up of 28-meter-long lanterns suspended from a height of 40 meters.
On your sports update, India secured an outright series win against Sri Lanka after defeating the Lions by 317 runs in the third one-day international match yesterday. This recorded margin of 317 is the highest margin of a team has won a match in the history of one-day cricket. Sri Lanka Cricket has ordered the manager of the team to submit a report over this series defeat.
Winning the toss, India decided to bat first. Indian captain Rohit Sharma scored 42 runs and put up a partnership of 95 runs for the first wicket with Shubman Gill. Then, along with Virat Kohli, Shubman Gill put up a partnership of 131 runs for the second wicket. Shubman Gill scored his second ODI century and gathered 116 runs in 97 deliveries. Virat Kohli scored his 46th ODI century and scored 166 runs, not out. He became the 5th highest all-time ODI run scorer, passing Sri Lanka's Mahela Jayawardene. Accordingly, India put up a mammoth score of 390 runs for their innings, while only losing 5 wickets in the process. Sri Lanka, chasing an unrealistic target, only managed to score 73 runs for their innings and lost the match by a record margin of 317 runs. This recorded margin is the highest margin that a team has won a match in the history of one-day cricket. Issuing a communique, Sri Lanka Cricket has said that the manager of the team must submit a report within 5 days regarding this defeat, along with the views of Captain Dasun Shanaka, head coach and the selectors. The team arrived in the island this evening.
Now, the report of the 5-member committee that investigated on the various charges levelled against the Sri Lanka team during the T20 World Cup tournament in Australia has been directed to the Attorney General today by the Secretary of the Ministry of Sports.
The Ministry of Sports says that some information is included in the report regarding the influences made to the team by a religious group titled Born Again. The report has been submitted to the Attorney General in order to obtain necessary recommendations to take further actions regarding this report.
That's all the news we have for tonight. Join us tomorrow at 8:50 p.m. for the very latest on Channel I. I'm Delanjali, together with Lakshita, signing off. Good night.
Good night.